The purpose is something else, basically. Okay? So you have to be very, very careful with what we are doing. And I told them, please avoid technology whenever you can. I'm not saying don't use technology, please. I'm not saying that. I'm saying be very careful in your judgment of the use of technology. You should know when to use it. Technology is like the knife. You should know whether you use it to cut a throat or a fruit. Be very careful. Because it is your world. I am in the last phase. I'll say bye-bye and go. Maybe next birth I'll meet you. Yeah.
There is a situation like here about our planet, but there are some activities which are not in our control.
I agree.
For that,
See, listen very carefully. Thank you for this question. She asked a very deadly question. Now, you used the word control. Can you tell me any instance where any human being is in full control, 100% ill-edged control, that you cannot question at all? You cannot. See, next second, I don't know, can you predict what you will do 2 minutes later? Can you predict yourself? Please note what I am asking. You damn cannot predict yourself here. What are you talking about predicting the rest of the world? This was exactly the question which you must have heard of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, a saint who lived in India last century. A very interesting person. Because this is something which is important as a lesson for life. See, one thing is to learn about startups, finance, networking, etc. Another thing is to learn about life. Okay? So one person, a very rich person, went and met the saint Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Okay? He lived in Kolkata. He's very famous for the Kali temple. You know? So he said, look, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that, I'm not able to control. Can you help me? Because he was a very wise man. Ramakrishna was a very wise man. Okay? Then Ramakrishna asked him, can you tell your stomach to do this right now? Can you tell your heart to beat like this right now? Can you tell your liver to function like this right now? Like this, he kept on challenging that man. I hope you got it. It's an anecdote, which I heard and I'm sharing with you. The man said, no, how can I do that? Then Ramakrishna asked him logically, when you cannot control what is inside you, why the hell are you trying to control the rest of the world? Which was a logically correct question. You cannot say no to that. Okay? But the lesson for all of us is this. Yes, it is true. Philosophically, it is true. You cannot control the rest of the world. But every human being is given partial control. For the precise answer to your question is, do you agree as an individual human being, you can play a communicative role, which is what I am doing now? Please understand that. You have that control. You can play a constructive, communicative role. You communicate certain truths, which people should understand. Okay? I can share some of my communication, but I don't want to digress. But this is the role that you should play. That you control to a good extent. What you communicate, how you communicate, when you communicate, to what extent you communicate, that is with you. I hope it's clear. And exert that control is my plea to all of you. And I'm giving you solid reasons. I've given you hard evidence of Earth overshoot day. This is real. And all of you should know about temperature rise. Climate change and temperature rise. These are clear and present dangers. And you can read the literature. If we cross 1.8 degrees centigrade surface temperature rise, we are heading for serious disaster. And if it's 2 degrees, the whole human race is cutting its throat. You can read it in the net. Why should I tell you? We are already crossed 1.5. I hope you know that. We are near 1.5. And things are not all that hunky-dory. You have idiots like Donald Trump sitting saying climate change is a hoax. And unfortunately, he's a bloody idiot heading one of the most powerful countries. With this kind of evidence, if he's not convinced, he has to be an idiot. I don't mind telling him on his face also. But it's very sad. So this is where we are, this is the world we are living in. I want you to appreciate that it's one thing to look at your startup, another thing to contribute to a saner and sensitive world, which is safer for everybody. Okay? And remember, natural disasters don't respect political boundaries. In fact, the world learned the lesson in a different way during Chernobyl, which happened in Russia. I think you would have heard of the Chernobyl tragedy, disaster. The nuclear plant burst, and the nuclear cloud went up to America. Nuclear cloud will not respect political boundaries. He'll just look down and say, you drew that boundary, it's not my boundary. So this is the kind of situation. By the way, I'm not frightening you, I'm only telling that discretion is the better part of valor. You have to be careful. You have to be careful for your own sake, for your children's sake, and their children's sake, and theirs to come. In fact, one of the areas I've done some work is on sustainability. That's why I'm sharing all this. Okay? So you got the idea. Are you convinced about the worth of the program and the implication of the program?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to understand the larger implications which go beyond your startup? Okay, that's fine. Because there's a very important concept in systems thinking which I'll share with you, which is called the window of perception. You should know this actually. Okay? You should know this so that you share it with all your friends, your brothers and sisters, your neighbors, everybody. Okay? Including your government officers if you have anybody. Okay? This is a very important concept. You have an x-axis time and a y-axis space. Okay. The x-axis you calibrate as today, I'm not writing here, today, tomorrow, next week, next fortnight, next month, next quarter, next half year, next year, next 5 years, next decade, next century, and so on. I think you got it. You calibrate the x-axis that way. Today, tomorrow, next week, next fortnight, next month, next quarter, next half year, next decade. Are you understand? Next 5 years, next decade, next century, next millennium, and so on. Okay? On the space axis, you calibrate as me, my family, spaces, spatial entities like you and me. Me, my family, my community, my neighborhood, my community, my state, my nation, my continent, are you understanding? My planet, blah, 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 blah. I hope you have understood the calibration, what the markings mean. Okay? The end of the time axis is eternity. The end of the y-axis is universality. I would like you to pay attention because I'm taking you far beyond your course. I'm trying to make meaning in life. Okay? I hope all of you agree that the end is eternity. We don't know. Eternity, you say eternal. We don't know the other end, universe. Or multiverses are there, maybe multiverse also. We don't know. The correct answer is we don't know. Okay? The problem is, most human beings are caught when they perceive the world and understand the world, they are caught in a trap. The trap is me today. Are you understanding? The window through which we perceive the world is me today. In fact, worse, it's me now, not even me today. That's where the problems come. That is the source of all our major problems. Beautiful. Can you reason and tell me why? I can answer it. I want you to reason because the answer is already inside you. What happens when you use such a small window to perceive the world? Tell me that. Huh? Yeah, what are the implications?
Self-centered, selfish.
Huh?
Self-centered and selfish.
It's not important. What you see is less important than what you don't see. Please understand this.
Humanity, sir.
That window, there's so much outside the window that you are not even aware of. Damn it.
Micro and macro.
So naturally, you land up into bad surprises. Because nature is infinitely connected. This is a fact. This is a fact.
Macro level and micro.
That's why people talked of chaos theory, butterfly effect in math. You know the story, no? Butterfly effect. Butterfly flapping its wings in Nepal will create a hurricane in Florida. Because of the connection. You don't know. But the beauty of this entire thing is, it is the truth that nature is infinitely connected. It is the truth. You can't say, I don't like it. Nature will say, get lost. If you don't like it. Is this clear? I hope this was useful to you. Okay. This goes beyond your standards. So what is the lesson for you now from this? When you work with the world, try to expand your window of perception. Always. But do you agree that most human beings are trapped with me today? A majority of human beings are trapped. And you can't blame them. Because there are millions and millions of human beings who say, I want the next morsel of food. So why are you talking about the future? For me, the physical survival is important for me 10 minutes later. I'm so damn hungry. That is the world we have built. That's a world of inequality in access to food we have built in. Inequality with respect to the first basic of aim, survival. Who has done it? All of us have done it. We are contributing. And if you understand how much of food gets wasted per day, you will understand what we are doing to the planet. So this is where everything starts. So somewhere we have to take care of our own planet. It's not that I am separate, you are separate. It doesn't work that way. That is why I told you, your first dharma is to yourself. Make yourself strong. Why? So that you can fulfill your greater dharma towards the world. Because if you are not strong, what are you going to do good for the rest of the world? You can't. So that is the dynamic relationship we have to build. Okay? I hope this part is clear to you. I hope the value system is also clear to you. And you don't need a better thing than this concept to understand what's happening. Okay? Chalo. I mean, I can go on and on, that's not my idea. But I wanted to share something with you while I could. Okay? Now, you got the steps. Estimate and mobilize resources. Second step. Estimation is a mental action, which is very important for all of you as startup promoters. You have to estimate. Okay. Then the step 3 is mobilize is a physical action. To mobilize resources means you are gaining physical control over the resources. Are we clear? So, mental action followed by physical action. Mobilize means you got all the resources with you. Let's say all the resources which you want are in this room. Figuratively, I'm saying. That means now, do you agree using your language? You have the capability to control what you want to do with the resources because they are there with you. Correct? Now comes. That's why step 3. Allocate and deploy resources. Now tell me something. You will have many tasks to be accomplished simultaneously at the same time. Will anybody work with infinite resources? Nobody will work with infinite resources. You will have limited resources. Because you have limited resources, you necessarily have to allocate the resources. Which means connecting a resource with a particular task. Which means that resource cannot be connected at the same time with some other task. Okay. So this leads you to the economic concept of opportunity cost. Any economics students here?
But I have heard.
You would have heard of the concept of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the cost that you suffer of the best opportunity you forego, which you are not choosing. So naturally, rational thinking means you should choose that option which has the highest opportunity cost. Are you understanding? Because if you don't choose it, you are suffering the highest cost. This is the concept. It's a wonderful concept. So remember all this. These are real. Right now, you are suffering an opportunity cost because you are sitting here not doing n-1 things. If I ask you to list what are the n-1 things, I'm sure I'll have a huge list coming out from all of you. Okay?
So what is N-1?
N-1 means a very large list. N is the total set. And of that n, you are already doing one. You are sitting here. Correct, na? Have you understood? There are n things to do. But are you doing all the n things right now? No, you are doing only one thing, which is sitting down here. Now, whether you are listening and learning is a different point. That's your mind. I cannot control that at all. Zero control I have over that. I'm not even sure whether you have control over your own mind.
So you have met different students with different perspective, different personality, and even friends. How did you manage to grab their attention? Because
No, I don't know. I speak the truth. It's very simple. I just speak the truth. That's all. It may be very bitter. The truth is always not very sweet and nice to pleasant. Okay? Anyway, leave that. I'm serious. I'm a serious person. I enjoy humor. It's not that I don't enjoy humor. But I'm very serious. For example, yesterday I was thoroughly enjoying Vikram's interaction with you. It was wonderful. You learned also. It's not that you didn't learn. But the point is, I cannot do that. I don't have the capability to do that. Okay? So that is why you need a mix of me and Vikram also. Are you understanding? Please understand, you also suffer what's known as the law of diminishing marginal anything. Everybody suffers the law of diminishing marginal anything. This is a universal law. Nobody can do a damn about the law. It is the truth. It says, the more you have of anything, the less you will want to have more of the same. That's the law. I repeat slowly. The more you have of anything, the less you will want to have more of the same. I'm sure many of you like ice cream. And kitna kahoge? Do you agree? Every additional ice cream makes you want to have a little less of more ice cream. Is that true or not? Suppose you have consumed 20 ice creams. How much will you want to have a little more ice cream? Tell me that. Will it be the same as when you started? It cannot be. It cannot be. Are you understanding? So, I will also suffer. You keep on listening to me, you want to listen less of me, from me. It's a universal law. You keep on interacting with Vikram. There will be a stage when you'll say, Bas karo ya. You'll say that. Huh? No, it can happen. But please, I want you to understand. See, it doesn't make him bad. Because he is human, you are also human. Damn it. You have your own limitations. I have my limitations. Are you understanding? So please understand. So that is why we always say purpose is important. Whatever you are doing, strike your purpose. That becomes very critical.
basically limitation of interest and distortion.
It does. SWOT analysis, I told you. Work with your strengths and everything. We'll come to that also. Is that clear? Are you very clear about why you have to allocate resources? Allocation is an intelligent act. It's a mind. Then comes to deploy resources. Deployment is a physical action. You actually physically send a resource somewhere. For example, your bus has been deployed to transport you. And your bus transported you and brought you here. It's a resource. I hope you got it. Okay. The bus is a technology resource meant for the purpose of transportation. I hope that part is also clear to you. Okay. By the way, am I boring you guys? Please. You can be very candid. I don't mind, because we should not end up wasting each other's time.
But you will meet LSE only next week.
That's all right.
After today's session.
It's all right. Yeah. Okay.
He's also
So that becomes very important. The last step is manage uncertainty and change. Do you remember all the crooked arrows that I put on the right hand side? Because risk and uncertainty are certain. 200% everybody will have to face risk and uncertainty. Nobody is exempt. Okay. The question is, how do you manage risk and uncertainty? That is why I put the loop back. Go back to step one. When you face risk and uncertainty of a certain intensity, which you have to judge, remember, you cannot get rid of judgment. The moment you are a human being, you start judging. In fact, I keep telling everybody, there is nothing called being objective in the planet. That is where our philosophical faith comes in. There is only one objective thing in the entire universe, which is Paramatma. Nothing else is objective. Zero. I hope this is clear. Everything else is subjective. It's very individual reference frame. Each one of you is a reference frame, because you have your mind. So this is what happens. Clear?
Why is Paramatma objective?
Because there is nothing beyond that. Advaita. और कुछ नहीं है.
So we give that example.
Huh?
An example we give objective.
No. That is a very limited use of the word objective. See, by objective, it means that there is just nothing else. Are you understanding? It is something which everybody will agree with. In fact, somebody in the internet was challenging me, isn't this objective, including the value of pi is objective. I had to immediately ask him after that. I said, can you tell me the exact value of pi? He stopped. Can anybody give me the exact value of pi?
Gaurav Raina sir.
Gaurav
Raina sir again.
Have a heart, please. Okay. Are you understanding? So everything else is subjective. Everything. This we have already gone through. How can nothing become something? So there are serious issues with our own being. Anyway, leave that aside. We'll get strong. We'll go strong. Is that clear? So get back to step one. Review your mission, objective, goals. That's it. Okay. I told you what is management. Management is accomplishing what you have stated at time t is equal to 0. Clear? At time t start, you state what you're going to do at time finish. And management is, you use your resources to make true what you stated at time t start. That is management. How do you do that? By using the resources. Lesson number 1, constraint number 1. Resources are limited. You work with limited resources. Okay. Lesson number 2, you are working in an ocean of uncertainty and risk. Important for startups. Remember, risk and uncertainty can hit you anywhere. You can't even anticipate where the hell is going to hit you. In fact, all of you know the disaster that hit aviation industry in India about 10 days ago. Am I right, Balaraju?
Yes, sir.
Would anybody have dreamt that suddenly Indigo will cancel the flights? A few days before that, one of my flights to Coimbatore got cancelled. I went to the airport. There was no announcement. I asked the people, look, there has been no announcement. I would not have even come to the airport and you told me. I would have stayed at home. I come to the airport and then you cancel the flight. Doesn't make sense. And they were saying there's no other flight today. There was another lady from Coimbatore who said, look, my mother is 96 years old. It is her birthday. I have to go meet her. She got a seat in one flight. And I was not that lucky because I knew I had some time on my hands. It's unfair to prioritize it. I don't know whether the lady was telling the truth or not. We don't know.
You should have fallen down, sir.
Huh?
You should have fallen down holding your chest, sir.
That's the politician speaking.
Because it's linked to God.
It's not fair. Be truthful, sir. Don't fool somebody else. Why should we do that?
Maharaj, sir.
Maharaj, you are being fooled. Anyway, it's all right. Leave it. Finally, they put me on the next morning, early morning flight. So that's what happened. And I went to Coimbatore, did my job, came back. Okay. So anyway, that you got the idea. Okay. So now that I told you this, you remember, number one, you're working with limited resources. Number two, you're working in an ocean of risk and uncertainty. These are verifiable experiences and facts. This is relatively more objective. Okay. Number three, you have to work with teams. Oftentimes you're not alone. You're working with teams, which makes life difficult because you're dealing with other human beings with their egos. Which makes, in fact, they can be your source of risk and uncertainty also. Okay. And number four is very fascinating. You have to, while working, you have to follow the rules and regulations. So these are all the limitations with which you are working as a promoter, startup promoter. And they are not ordinary limitations. They are fairly significant. Okay. So that is why I told you earlier, be humble. Several times I mentioned, be humble. And I given you one more reason when I respond to it. Be humble because you're not in control. You're in partial control, that's all. So to that extent you can be confident as to what you can do with your ability to control. The moment you realize you are not in full control, you must become humble. But how do I hedge against these risks and uncertainties? Your resource base. The human resources, the financial resources, the technical resources, the technology resources, the organization management resources, your networks and relationships. Your resource base will be providing you the foundation for handling risk and uncertainty, plus your own wisdom and intelligence. Now do you agree, if you work with a larger window of perception, your ability to tackle risks and uncertainties will be better? Do you agree, if you work with a very narrow window of perception, you are exposing yourself to several risks and uncertainties? Why? Because you are not seeing many things. So naturally your source of risk, your source set of risks and uncertainty is going to be much larger. I hope we are clear. Does it mean that all your predictions are true? No. That is why we always guide people, work with at least 3 scenarios when you are dealing with the future. An optimistic scenario where God is with you, a pessimistic scenario where God is against you and the devil is with you. You understand it? And an expected scenario, a likely scenario. So 3 scenarios you should have in your head when you're working. Optimistic, likely and pessimistic. And document it. Don't have it only in your head. Only incompetent people will work with their heads. If you are very competent, document what you are doing. For your own good, you have to keep documenting. At least keep oral logs on your mobile phone. Minimum. You can record your own voice if you love your voice. And keep recording what you are doing. Is this part clear? Okay. So, have all of you understood what is management now? Management is the accomplishment of pre-stated tasks, okay, which are stated in consistency with the mission, objectives and goals of the organization. Isn't it? Work has to be stated in consistency with the mission, objectives and goals. Hopefully, mission, objectives and goals are stated correctly. Hopefully, we don't have a guarantee. Okay. And accomplishing those tasks, working with limited resources, in an ocean of uncertainty, working in teams, and what? With and following rules and regulations. Limited resources was number one. You're working with limited resources. Ocean of uncertainty and risk, number two. Working in teams, number three. Last one is working with rules and regulations. You have to follow your government's rules and regulations. You can't say, I'll do what I want. Is that clear? So, if anybody asks you what is management, you should be able to draw the picture, which I do. And explain. That is management. Now we'll come to the idea of mission and vision. This is also important because when you read various authors, you'll get to a confusion as to, some people ask the question, is mission important or vision important? Did you have the question in your mind? Did you have the same question in your mind? Is mission important or vision important? Okay. Huh? I want to tell you something. Both are important.
Sir, but vision should not be first, right?
Let me explain. That's why I'm explaining. Mission and vision are like your two eyes. Do not be foolish to ask which eye is more important. Am I clear? Don't ask that question. Okay? Both are important. For specific reasons, the mission has a purpose. The mission has a purpose which is legally valid, which I already told you. If you want to register your company, you shall declare the mission through the memorandum of association of your company. You shall tell the regulator that this is what I'm going to do. So mission defines the purpose of existence of your company. Why does your company exist? And the answer to purpose of existence is very simple: to provide a specific value to the market. Are we clear? In fact, to be precise, to provide value to my market, my company's market. Is that okay? That's the purpose of, basic purpose of your existence. But you'll have to state clearly what you're going to contribute. How is that value going to be contributed? So, can we review? What do you understand by the word mission? It is a statement of the purpose of existence of your company. Why does a company exist? A mission statement will have 4 components. Any good mission statement will have 4 components which we can review. Okay. Component number 1 is basic activities that will be performed. In fact, in terms of our religious philosophy, the mission statement reflects the dharma of your company, your chosen dharma. What is the dharma you choose to perform? And you know what is dharma? Dharma is the most central concept in our existence. And you have the right to choose your dharma as you grow. You don't expect a child to choose its dharma. It doesn't know. But as you grow, you become more mature, and then you can choose your dharma. Is that clear? Sure? So the dharma here constitutes your basic activities. What are those activities which you do? I'll give you an example. IIT Madras has a mission which will reflect its basic activities of teaching, learning, evaluation, education, research, fundamental and sponsored, and intellectual services. Intellectual services to different clients. Are you understand? Right now, IIT Madras is engaged in its third mission through me, providing intellectual services to young friends from Nepal. Am I doing research now?
No.
Yeah, yes and no. Because my mind is also, while I am observing you, mind is also working on several questions, raising several questions. Okay. Am I engaging in teaching, learning and evaluation? Yeah, I am doing that. Not evaluation, but we are into teaching, learning. But the intellectual services comprise teaching, learning. I hope you got it. Is that okay? Second is very important. Have you understood mission? Please understand, even a country has a mission. You must understand this. Every country has a mission. Now you might wonder, where is the mission of a country stated? Okay, I can tell you about my country. Look at the preamble of the Constitution of India. That is the mission statement for India. I'm sure Nepal has a constitution. Definitely. And you will have a statement of why Nepal exists. You will have it, I'm telling you. 200% you will have it. So the Indian Constitution is, the preamble states the mission of India. Like this is why the country exists. The country exists to do dash, 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 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. So mission will always involve duty, dharma, action. That's why basic activities. Are we clear? So like that you should be clear about your company's basic activities. Those activities your company will engage in, whether anybody likes it or not. Because those activities are going to lead to the value creation and development and generation and transfer. Remember, the entire game starts with value. Don't forget what I taught you the other day. There are only two types of transactions between human beings. It's either a business transaction or a social transaction. And in both, you are exchanging value. So there is no human transaction without value. Zero. Are you clear? In fact, you can even tell people if you are engaging in an action without value, you are irrational. You are off your head. Okay. The second component of the 4 components of mission is manner of performance. Alright, I have many basic activities, but how am I going to perform those activities? What is the style in which I will perform those activities? Okay. You guys watch cricket also?
Yes, sir.
You like cricket?
Yes, sir.
You know some of the earlier players in the Indian cricket team?
Yes, sir.
Virender Sehwag, Rahul Dravid, Sachin Tendulkar, etc.
Yes, sir. Kapil Dev.
Now, do you agree that basic activities for a batsman is to score runs?
Yes.
Basic activity. Without losing the wicket. Correct? You can't score runs, lose the wicket. Correct, no? Now, manner of performance is where this becomes important. Would you say that these batsmen, Virender Sehwag, Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid, had the same style of batting?
No.
Virender Sehwag's batting is see ball hit. Are you understanding?
Yes.
That was his manner of batting. Rahul Dravid is see ball, judge and play.
Wait.
Are you understanding? Tendulkar probably somewhere in between. He also judges, but he also hits. Okay. Incidentally, there's been a debate who is a better batsman, Tendulkar or Sehwag. But everybody should know, yeah, on many criteria, Tendulkar will prove to be better. On a few criteria, for example, Virender Sehwag has 2 triple centuries, which Tendulkar does not have. In fact, between Tendulkar and Dravid, I want you to understand, The reliability of Dravid is much higher than the reliability of Tendulkar.
Yes.
The scores will tell you.
Sir, Ganguly is more better.
I don't know. He is a good batsman, definitely. But reliability, it is always Dravid. Anybody will tell you in India. That's why he was called the war.
Dravid.
Dravid is definitely reliable. Okay. So, now do you understand what's meant by manner of performance? Style. For example, I have a style of sharing my knowledge. Vikram had a very different style of sharing his knowledge. So, both of us are sharing knowledge, basic activity sharing knowledge. But our styles are not the same.
Yes, sir.
Are you understanding? So that's why manner of performance. I hope this is clear. Which only you should declare. How you will perform your basic activities is your business. It's your responsibility. Are we clear? The third one is, who are your stakeholders? Who are all the stakeholders involved in this whole game of value? Okay. The last one is, what are the expected outcomes of your performing the basic activities? So 4 components: basic activities, manner of performance, stakeholders, expected outcomes. Any good mission statement will feature these 4, of which the first 2 are compulsory. If you do not have the first 2, it is not a mission statement. I hope I am clear. The second 2 are optional. Stakeholders and expected outcomes are optional, not necessary. Are you understanding? So next time you come across a mission statement, I just taught you how to dissect the mission statement. How to try to understand the mission statement. But that statement is very important because that's a formal declaration, a mandatory declaration of what you want to do in your company. Your company will not be registered otherwise. Are we clear? So mission is dharma, which you, please note, you pursue a mission. You never accomplish a mission. That mission accomplished has a different meaning and context. I hope you are clear. Not in the corporate context. You always keep pursuing a mission. Why? Because it's your dharma. You have to pursue your dharma. Why? Because you chose your dharma. To give you the importance of this, I have to go into the famous dialogue between Krishna Paramatma and Arjuna on the battlefield. I'll just take a minute and tell you what it is. You know the story of the Mahabharata. All of you are taught by your parents, grandmother, grandfather. So here is the war. The Kauravas on the other side, Pandavas are this side. Arjuna tells Krishna, I'm not going to fight. And Krishna asks him, what's your problem? Okay, why are you not going to fight? Then he says, look, my brothers are that side, my guru is that side, my grandfather is that side. Oh, you're asking me to fight? You want me to kill them? Then the Gita lesson happens. It's a brilliant lesson. He asks Arjuna a simple question. He come to our world. He asks Arjuna, if you print a visiting card, what will your visiting card say? So Arjuna says, Arjuna, Pandu, warrior, Hastinapur empire. Are you understanding? Empire of Hastinapur. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is. Email ID, mobile phone number. Okay. So he states. Then Krishna asks Arjuna, who asked you to become a warrior? I'm just compressing many things. Arjuna says, I'm a warrior. I was born into a warrior family. I trained myself to be a warrior. Okay. There are side stories also. Drona was a Brahmin, but chose to be into war. So Drona technically cannot claim to be a pure Brahmin. Are you understanding? Fine, anyway, leave that. Then Krishna asks, you made yourself a warrior, you chose to be a warrior. Fine, no problems, I don't have a problem. Then what is it that a warrior should do? So Arjuna says, a warrior should engage in war through fighting. Then Krishna asks, what is this situation? Then Arjuna says, this is war. Then he says, you are flouting your own definition, damn it. It doesn't make any sense. How can you flout your own definition of what you should do? It's insensible. So Krishna checkmates him. Now you understand why we have to state mission. You cannot flout your own mission. Why? Because you are exerting your free will and choosing your mission, your dharma. I hope this part is clear. Okay? I will go down further. Now what's vision? Are you clear? You pursue a mission. Can a mission change? Yes, you can change. The company's mission can change across time. And please understand, but changing a mission is not very easy.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
There is 4 components of mission. Basic activities,
Manner of performance.
stakeholder, and after that,
Expected outcomes.
etc.
Expected outcomes. Fourth is expected outcomes. See, when you perform activities, do you agree there are outcomes? Expect. When I say expected outcomes, don't forget 3 scenarios. Optimistic, likely, and pessimistic. Is that clear? Okay, fine. Great. Happy. So, I hope you have noted, a mission is pursued. Why? Because it's your dharma. You pursue a mission. You don't accomplish a mission. Okay. Now come to vision. Vision is a statement of future reality. I had mentioned this when we were there.
Yes, sir.
It's a statement of future reality. It's not a reality today, but it is a reality that will happen because of you and your efforts with respect to the resources. What you're effectively saying is, because I'm going to manage my resources in a certain way, that reality will happen in the future. I'm confident. Because I'll work with limited resources against risk and uncertainty, working in teams and following the rules and regulations. I'll make that happen. Now you can understand why visionary leaders are very important. Okay? And it takes you to a point which we discussed. Visionary leaders are always gifted with reality distortion factor. I had mentioned this. They have that innate ability to distort reality. And not only that, they can drive the reality also. That's why they are visionary. And one such madman is Elon Musk. I mean, I'm using madman in a positive sense, not in a negative sense. I hope you understand this. Do you agree he has distorted reality like mad? Like almost no one else has done that. He's distorted reality. Steve Jobs did that. In India, Tata's did that. If you look back in the business history, many such people have done that, who distorted reality. In fact, one of the very famous things about, I think we will.
No, we have time, sir. 11.
No, I know, I'm just watching the clock. See, sometimes I don't watch the clock, but he helped me remind to watch the clock. It is important. Yeah, no, it's important because you also have a structure. Others are going
This
to
we
come.
can also.
Yeah, you have to have tea, isn't it? So all this is there. Are we clear? In contrast, a vision statement being a statement of future reality, you pursue a mission, you realize a vision. By realize means bring to reality. Make it real. It's not real now, but make it real. Is that clear? So you realize a vision, you pursue a mission and realize a vision. So a vision should propel your startup. A mission should guide your startup. It's not unguided propulsion. It's not random propulsion. I hope you got it. Are you understanding? A vision energizes, a mission guides. I hope this is clear. Vision does that inspiration. Please understand. So the purpose of the vision is to inspire. Where people say, yeah, I like it. This is something I'd like to work for. Am I clear? Now do you agree both are like your two eyes? You ask which is more important. You can't. There are some things important for you to note. A vision is leader dependent and time dependent. A vision is leader dependent and time dependent. It's not that the mission is not leader dependent and time dependent, but much slower. Even a new leader cannot come and change the mission of an organization just like that. It's not easy. Please understand this. Whose role and responsibility is it to state the mission and vision? Whose responsibility? Visionary leader. And leader. And I already told you, in a startup, you are everything, right from visionary leader to worker. You are everything in your startup. So you are not a 2,000 employee company where you have so many people split across those levels. Okay? So it's your role and responsibility to specify both. Okay? Now, instinctively tell me, do you agree a vision statement can change when a new leader comes to the organization? Vision statement. It is the responsibility of the leader to state his vision. Please understand this. The mission has already been stated because you have submitted to the regulator, Memorandum of Association. I hope you got it. Your dharma has already been declared. It is there in the files of the regulator. I told you, you can change the mission, but it's difficult. It's not easy. You have to go back to the regulator. Okay. A vision is relatively easier to change. Are we clear? It's relatively easier to change. Because a new leader is duty bound to state his vision. It is the duty of the leader.
So it's like mission is the destination and vision is the pathway to take?
Mission is not the destination, vision is the destination. It's a statement of future reality. In fact, thank you for this question. Mission is the journey. Vision is the destination. Are we clear? Sure? You're checking something? No, tell me. No, you were pointing out, she was nodding. No, what was it? Do you have a doubt or something? Yeah. Were you checking, is this there? Yeah, tell me, ask me.
Sir, is it fine to not being able to figure out vision at first?
It's okay. Hey, everybody is not that clear, man. I mean, when you were a small girl, were you clear about life? Come on. Even companies have a life cycle. Please understand that. Every startup has a life cycle. You must know which part of your life cycle you are existing in. I hope somebody will talk to you about the life cycle of a startup. Everybody has. Please understand, this is where our philosophy comes in beautifully. Anything that is born or created shall die or get destroyed.
Yes.
This is the truth of life. Nothing is permanent except the Paramatma. No, I combined philosophy and real life. Because I don't use a narrow window of perception. It's very, very important. I try to expand my window of perception. Because I know the dangers of using small windows of perception. It's dangerous. It hurts you. Are we clear? So vision is leader dependent. New leader is duty bound to state a new vision. It's time dependent because vision is of two types. Eventual vision and timed vision. There are two types of vision statements. An eventual vision and a timed vision. Oftentimes, you will come across eventual vision where the company or the organization or institution will say, someday we will be this. They won't tell you when. Whereas there are organizations where in their strategic planning, they will say 3 years later we will be this. 5 years later we will be this. 8 years later we will be this. 10 years later we will be this.
Sir, can compare multiple visions?
Huh?
Multiple visions.
No, you can have components of vision. That's okay. You can't have multiple visions. I talked of variation in time. You can say, no, 3 years later I will accomplish this. 5 years later, this is what I expect. That you can say. So that's called time division. And you will not come across this commonly. Because people are afraid. People don't have guts to say 5 years later I will do this. Because they are not sure of themselves. But my personal suggestion or advice to all of you is have a time division. Because it will give you a reference point. My personal advice is have a time division. Because even if you are not hitting the target, it's okay. At least you can do some judgment as to where you are. I hope you got it. Okay. So time division is like something like a 20-20 score that you are chasing. 20-20 cricket score you are chasing. So you have a target. You have a target. So you can sort of judge what you are doing. You may fail, that's a different point. Like many teams do fail. But I hope you know the proportion of people who have chased, who have won, is relatively higher than the proportion of people who have chased and lost. Okay? Is this clear? Are we clear? You pursue a mission, you realize a vision. Is mission and vision clear? Now mission and vision are philosophical. Okay, I'll stop with this. When we continue, we'll go further into objectives and goals also. I hope I'm communicating effectively. Okay? Yes, please, because your inputs are important, otherwise I live in my mind, which is dangerous. Yes.
So if I want to enlarge my window of